Kumar Ketkar, editor of the Divya Bhaskar, thank you very much. You was there at the news conference. Mr. Ketkar, Dilip Padgaonkar, consulting editor with the Times Group, thank you. Chandan Mitra, editor-in-chief of the Pioneer and representing the BJP, thank you very much tonight. I don't have a Congress voice, but Kumi Kapoor, contributing editor of the Indian Express and veteran journalist, thank you very much, Kumi. It's great to have you coming on News Hour tonight. I think it's the first time. Mr. Ketkar, now I've just got the details. I've been cribbing about not getting this on tape since yesterday, but I've just got the details and I find one interesting point. Maybe you can make your point and then I'll get the other side. Prime Minister asked about the feeling of drift in the government, about the longevity of the government. Prime Minister replies, there are some tension, but I'm confident nobody wants an election at this stage. Therefore, he says, the self-preservation instinct will work to our advantage. What is the message he's sending here? Because nobody wants an election and therefore the government survives. Is that the sense you got?
No, he merely said, when the question was hinting at a possibility of even a midterm poll or government not being stable or government being very weak and Prime Minister being lame duck, at that point he just retorted, and not exactly as a retort, but just clarification that actually who wants election now? After all, it is also a question of so many members of parliament who want to self-preserve. It was a kind of a light-hearted comment. I don't think it was great political statement that he was making. He merely said, but nobody wants elections. That was in continuation of that statement he said, but everybody also has to self-preserve.
Chandan Mitra, you agree with that assessment?
I know I'm surprised that my very good friend Kumar is become an apologist for the Prime Minister, leaving aside his other hat as a very incisive analyst. I think it just shows the Prime Minister's own insecurity. The Prime Minister knows that the government is unlikely to fall because the DMK, for instance, will not pull out at the moment because they are desperate to cling on to some semblance of power at the centre. Similarly, with all his other allies, he knows that nobody is going to bring down the government. Although they are weakening the government every day. All his coalition allies are weakening the government. The Sonia Gandhi's NAC is weakening the government. Digvijay Singh, General Secretary of his own party, is weakening the Prime Minister's position. So with all this, the Prime Minister obviously is suffering from great insecurity. In this situation, he says, well, since nobody wants an election, I am safe. So it's a very defensive argument. It is an argument that really does no mass leader, if he were Prime Minister, would ever make. Would say, I'm ready for an election. You want to throw me out? Come, we can have an election. Are you ready? Bring down the government.
He also says...
He doesn't have the gumption. He can't say it. So he fudges the thing around.
He also says, there's a question put, I don't know by whom, maybe Mr. Ketkar. Kumi, let me come to you. Mr. Padgaonkar, I'm coming to you right after Kumi. He's asked, one of your biggest assets was your integrity and honesty. Your personal integrity remains above board, but there's an impression you allowed things to happen, to which he says, now as Prime Minister, I'm not knowledgeable about these matters. He means telecom. Or that I can spend so much of my time to look after each and every ministry. Ministers administer their departments. If they don't apply policy changes, they are free to implement what they do to the best of his ability. This whole, he's distancing himself from 2G. Kumi.
What he says, what you've quoted him as saying just now seems to contradict what he said about not being a lame duck Prime Minister, because here on one hand he didn't interfere when corruption was going on in his government, and that is the very definition of a lame duck Prime Minister. And I think that, all this idea that the people coming out of the press conference and saying that he sounded very confident and he said very clearly he's not lame duck, but I think action should speak louder than words in such matters. And the actions of the Prime Minister and the government of late do not show as if they are in total control of the situation.
When he's asked a question about KG gas, Dilip Padgaonkar, he's not answering specifically. I've got all this draft with you. He says, I've not read the full report. This is the controversial KG RIL issue. But on CAG, he makes a comment. He says, never in the past has the CAG decided to comment on a policy issue. It should limit the office to the role defined in the Constitution. It's very much in line with what Digvijay Singh said about the CAG being more a bookkeeping authority. What sense do you get of that, Mr. Padgaonkar?
Well, obviously the Prime Minister is playing by the book. But let me come back to something that you said earlier. I think in this entire discussion on today's meeting, we have to make a distinction between the method chosen by the Prime Minister to assert his authority and the content of what he said. And of course, I've got some problems with the method that he's chosen. But since we are on the content, let me say something, which is that I do not think that the Prime Minister is ever going to persuade the opposition that he in fact is the one who caused the shots. But the message also is to a lot of people within his own party to say, stop what you've been saying. The buck stops with me. I take full responsibility for whatever policies have been done. And I think to that extent, he's been appealing to people over the heads of the established political parties. Whether it works or not is a big question mark, because what people expect, I think, is action. And this is something that we'll have to see over the next few days.
There's a bit of hedging going on here, because when he's asked of the Commonwealth Games, Kumar Ketkar, I'm coming back to you, Chandan Mitra, I know you want to come in. On the Commonwealth Games, he says, Kumar Ketkar, that, there is no mechanism in the Prime Minister's office to look at all the minute details. It's much like his reply on 2G earlier. I can't be expected to know what's happening in every ministry. And he wraps up by saying, the agreement to have CWG was signed in the year 2003 when the previous government was in power. But the profligacy happened in the UPA 1 and 2.
No, what you were saying was that if he goes on distrusting or suspecting his ministers, cabinet ministers, on every single issue, on agreement, on deals they make, then it would be impossible for me to function as a Prime Minister. He cannot but just trust them. He said he himself is on record and the public documents are there. All the documents are in public, he said, about his letters to Raja and to his ministry, asking him, explaining some of the issues that he was raising. And every time they replied, and continuously if he keeps on insisting that I don't trust you, that would be impossible to govern. I work 18 hours a day, he said, and 18 hours a day, if I just start suspecting all the cabinet ministers, then how can a government
It's not about
function?
suspecting. It's not about suspecting.
I cannot call every single
I think the question is different. The question is, Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal, what you're referring to is Mamata Banerjee in Bengal and Pawar in Maharashtra opposing gas price hike. How is this affecting the functioning of the coalition? Prime Minister replies, I have nothing much to say about these tensions. This is what he said.
He did not say.
Earlier he said, I'm held by coalition dharma. Now he says, I have nothing to say about these tensions. So you admit the tension.
No, he says obviously there will be tension. I mean, he did not deny existence of tension. What he was trying to say was that this is part of the political process. He says, what can I do if Sharad Pawar's party in Maharashtra opposes the gas prices rise and Mamata Banerjee opposes? They are part of the UPA.
Okay, Chandan Mitra.
So he showed a kind of
Chandan Mitra.
helplessness of sorts.
Yeah. You see, Arnab, it gets worse by the minute. I'm sorry, you see, I was studio hopping all evening, so I couldn't actually go through what the PMO has put out. You appear to have the transcript.
Yes, I do.
Now, this really gets much worse than we had thought. That the Prime Minister is blaming, on this 2G issue and the CAG report. He's accusing CAG of political comment. Now, you and I have read the CAG report. Where is the political comment? They have really done a bookkeeping job, and they've simply come out with a report which says there are 4 different calculations. Whichever way you look at it, there's a loss to the exchequer ranging from 60,000 crore to 1,76,000 crore. Where is the political comment? It just shows that the Prime Minister has been so badgered by his own party to take this line, the Digvijay Singh line, that the Prime Minister is saying these kind of things.
Now here's the
Even
quote.
on the Commonwealth Games, he says, well, BJP, let me complete.
Yeah.
BJP allotted. Yeah, the BJP government allotted the Commonwealth Games, but the BJP government didn't produce a Suresh Kalmadi. BJP government didn't produce Kalmadi. Kalmadi is a product of Manmohan Singh's government. And therefore, Manmohan Singh has to be accountable. How is the BJP responsible for what happened in the CWG's scam? It's entirely the Congress is doing.
On Rahul Gandhi.
I have nothing more to say really.
On Rahul Gandhi, look at the transcript. I've got all the details. Very interesting. On Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, 2 questions came in. Kumi, occasional voices in your party that Rahul Gandhi should take over. What is your opinion? Now he answers that if you ask me the general perception that younger people should take over, I think it is the right sentiment. I sincerely hope that whenever the Congress party makes up its mind, I have no objection to step down. The tone is that it's an inevitability. It's not whether, but whenever is the word that the Prime Minister uses. Kumi. But so long as I am there, I have a job to do. What's the message he's sending out? Kumi.
Well, I think the only original thing really to emerge from this interaction with the media is to say, he's saying that so long as I am there, I'm still the Prime Minister. I think there's an indirect message in that for his own party men who have been trying to bring out that it's time for Rahul to take over. In fact, I think he also added a line that Rahul is not taking over at the moment. I don't know on whose authority he made that line.
Did he? Did he say something like that? Mr. Ketkar, you were there.
No, I don't think he even suggested that. Of course, we in the media are always, enjoy ourselves in word splitting and trying to understand body language, the eye movement and the face and body language in general. I think that is beyond, I don't think I will go to that extent of saying that he generated a kind of conjecture that you are hinting at. I think it was rather plain, because the question was that your party members are saying that Rahul Gandhi should take over. So he has to respond to that. He was not negating any question, he was not being ambiguous, he was straightforward. So while answering straightforward, he said, okay, if the occasion comes, I will step down. So I don't think any game in that. And I don't think he's a man who plays games with the words also.
That's very interesting. We are getting interesting analysis. There's a perception that Sonia Gandhi is deciding everything and you are helpless. That's also a question. She says, my relationship with Sonia Gandhi has never been better. I meet her every week. So he's punctured your whole argument, Chandan Mitra, there. About, a growing...
The president and the prime minister meeting every week is quite fair, huh?
Chandan Mitra, yes, Dilip, coming to you, Dilip. Yes,
yeah,
Chandan Mitra.
Come on. If the prime minister is meeting Sonia Gandhi every week, in other words, I see this as an admission that I take my weekly commands from 10 Janpath. I come and implement them for the next part of the week, and when I go back for further orders. Now, this is what I would interpret this to be. No. One man in the Congress who didn't do this, Narasimha Rao, you see the kind of what they have done to him and his memory. So, Dr. Manmohan Singh obviously learned some lessons from what happened to Narasimha Rao. Okay. And now he's doing what he's supposed to do. But let me make another point away from the less serious one. I was very, very shocked, but the Prime Minister had the audacity today to say inflation will be under control by March 2012. Kumar Ketkar, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he said that. Now, if he said that, this is the third time the Prime Minister has given... Yeah, whatever, it will be under control. Now, you see, in 2009, after being elected, he said in December 2009, prices will be under control. Then, next year in 2010, after the budget, he said by December 2010, prices will be under control.
No, sir, there are two riders.
For the third time, he said March 2012.
There are two riders. There are two riders. You missed out. Chandan Mitra. Chandan Mitra, there are two riders. Yeah. I see the transcript. There are two riders to that wonderful comment. If oil prices soften and if commodity prices remain where they are, then I asked Rangarajan the other day and he said by the end of March we should have an inflation rate of 6.5%.
That's why you are privy to the transcript, I am not. So you see, this is it. So many ifs and buts. He has guarded himself because he has made this commitment twice before, and says, twice before he has been proved absolutely unfruitful.
And he says earlier, now we have no magic wand to bring down international commodity prices. We cannot force our farmers to part with their food grains for procurement at unreasonable prices. So, I think that puts it in perspective. Dilip Padgaonkar, will he do this again? Will we have a news conference next week? And then the week after that? Because we were hoping for a weekly news conference.
Arnab, this particular event today was obviously off camera because the television crews were not allowed inside. But then it wasn't quite an in-camera event either, because normally, and I've attended briefings and meetings with the Prime Minister several times in the past, there is a certain ground rule that everyone accepts, namely that each journalist is free to write in his or her own publication. What we found here is that you've got some of these editors who came out and then spoke to the television crews outside, and therefore you had an interpretation or an intermediary between the Prime Minister and the public at large. I think that is something that needs to be corrected, because today the world is very different from what was even 5 years ago. All right? And I think we now need to accept the fact that either you're completely open that or if you're selective, then make sure that certain ground rules are respected. Okay. Alas, that did not happen in this case.
Kumi Kapoor, let me give you the last word. You're listening on patiently. I'm not going to ask you, the lame duck question is, where do you rate this news conference? Because I don't think it can be rated. Do you think it has served a purpose? Do you think the Prime Minister is coming out looking stronger or more in control?
Well, the reason this interaction with the media was called was, I believe, to bridge the communication gap. But if you want to bridge a communication gap, you don't do it through passing on news second hand. Either the Prime Minister should have a broadcast, a telecast directly to the people, or he should have had a press conference which is televised, or speaking to some group like the Editors Guild or to the Indian Women's Press Corps, all of whom have asked for interactions with the Prime Minister. But this is behind closed doors. So how does it solve your problem of the Prime Minister not communicating properly with the public at large?
I second that. If anyone gets in, including the Indian Women's Press Corps, I hope that even if men are not allowed, a camera is allowed, Kumi, so that we can show the tape later in the evening. It's so difficult to translate all of this. Look at it. Chandan Mitra heard everything for the first time right now. It's on the website of the PMO, I can tell you that. Thank you very much for joining me on this interesting chat on the News Hour tonight. Thank you very much indeed.